Hi everyone, Ray Moran with the IIBV here today with Rafäel Le Saux of the Luxembourg Valuation Professionals Association, and we're very excited about this discussion as the LVPA is a very new valuation organization in Luxembourg. And Rafäel, we're thrilled you're with us. Thank you for joining. Can you give us an overview of the LVPA, its background, its goals and objectives?
Hi, Ray. Thank you very much for having me today. So first and foremost, I feel honored to be representing the founding committee of the Luxembourg Valuation Professionals Association for this interview. The founding committee of LVPA is composed of 20 valuation professionals that could be considered as industry champions from both professional services firms, asset managers, fund services providers, as well as fintech companies. We started collaborating at the end of 2021 and have been asking ourselves what's the best way to create this association, to create an association that will be able to represent and lead the valuation profession in Luxembourg. Our mission is to lead and represent the valuation profession in Luxembourg by promoting the highest standards of ethic, professional excellence and expertise, education for the ultimate benefit of its members and our community. Okay, so breaking up these, so professional excellence, I think, is the forefront of our objectives, trying to bring the proper expertise given the very diverse set of assets and investments that we value or oversee in terms of valuation. Accompanied by sufficient, by high ethical standards. Also, very importantly, and it was very important for us to create a network where different valuation professionals would be able to communicate, to share their experiences, and to share their questions. As we always say, valuation is an opinion and never a fact, meaning that in order to enhance our estimates and we need to share knowledge and to share our experiences regarding valuation. Lastly, I think one of the important points of our organization is related to learning, to creating the possibility to enable learning for valuation professionals in the same way that other valuation professionals organizations have been doing elsewhere. Okay.
Thank you for that. That's really quite fascinating. And one of the things I've learned about Luxembourg, Rafäel, is that it's a leader in regulated and alternative investment funds, not just for Europe, but I think on a global basis. Can you tell us what makes Luxembourg so attractive for these investments?
That is correct. So first, let me introduce a bit Luxembourg, because not everyone from the audience will know where we are. So Luxembourg is a landlocked country of 600,000 inhabitants, located between Belgium, France, and Germany, and it's the second worldwide in terms of investment funds, and it's a leader in global alternative funds, based on several advantages. One of them being a very proven legal toolbox, partly because of the CCAV and RIFE structures that have proven to be very flexible and desirable for different investors. Additionally, I think that from a talent perspective, Luxembourg has been able to attract a multilingual and multicultural workforce and has been able to develop a strong and back and middle office infrastructure that is used to work with international clients and asset managers everywhere. Also, we have a modern regulator which is in close proximity for investors, and access to the European space, allowing cross-border transactions, allowing distribution of funds within the European Union. In that regard, I think it's important to mark that valuation in Luxembourg is a very unique environment. Why? Because if you think purely about practitioners, we should be around 150 to 200 valuation practitioners. But if in the top of that, you consider all the internal specialists that are working around valuation, we are far more than that. The main reason for this is that being Luxembourg a financial center with several sectors such as banking, insurance, and asset management, for this last one, valuation is particularly relevant in the case of alternative investment funds that participate in private markets. As of 2022, in Luxembourg, there are 400 alternative investment fund managers incorporated, all of them featuring professionals that are performing valuations, both either preparing or overseeing valuations that need to be independent from the portfolio management functions. The asset classes that we see more prevalent are real estate, private equity, that have been here for the past 20 years, but also during the past 10 years, we have seen a significant increase of venture capital funds, infrastructure funds, and private debt. All of these sub-asset classes are particularly where valuation plays a critical role in order to protect the interests of the ultimate investors. Additionally, the assets that we are normally reviewing, the investments that we are reviewing from Luxembourg, tend to have a global exposure. So that means that we will have assets, both sitting in Latin America, North America, Europe, obviously, Asia, and Africa. So we valuation professionals in Luxembourg need to be competent in understanding the intricacies of of working in valuation in international context.
And all of that is what makes Luxembourg so fascinating from a valuation organization perspective, given the sophistication of your valuation members, of the markets, of the regulators, in addition to valuation issues such as professional designations. That's a wide variety of continuing professional education on behalf of your members.
Absolutely. And maybe to tell you a bit more about the journey we had so far. So we started with this association project almost 3 years ago, and initially we discussed with Nick Talbot, who's the CEO of the IVSC, when he visited Luxembourg, and when we pitched the idea of starting a valuation professional organization. I think that all these internal valuation specialists that are quite numerous in Luxembourg, that's not something necessarily that he had on the radar, and he encouraged us to reach out to different parties in the market, to different interested parties in the market, in the industry, to see if there was value in starting an association such as this one. Mm-hmm. In that regard, that was just before COVID hit. So when COVID started, we had to put the project on the back burner for a bit more than a year, and around April of 2021, we started discussing bilaterally with many parties that we identify as potentially interested, to see if they wanted to participate in this project. That's why at the end of 2021 we started this funding committee, where the idea was to see what could be the mission of this organization, how this organization would take form, and what we'll need to do in order to make this organization progress. Since we started working, we have made significant progress with different ideas. We have been able to fine-tune a bit more our membership model, which will be presented during our launch event on 15th of November. And we have been successful in engaging with the general public either bilaterally, but also through LinkedIn, to networking events and to normal professional interaction. We have engaged with other VPOs, such as the AESA, with the Singapore Association of Valuation Association, with the SFEV, which is the French Association for Valuation Experts, with the ACPA Business Financial Forensic Evaluation Services section, and also with IIBV, as well as other organizations, CBV, among others that we respect a lot, MRICS, and that's something that has been very helpful in order for us to be able to have to understand how we can be adding value to our members, and what would be the best way what would be the best way to progress with this initiative. Additionally, I mean, and because this always has a local context, we have actively engaged with local associations, either industry groups such as that deal in the private equity and fund industry, as well as other professional associations, including the local CFA Society, our Kaya chapter here, among many others, just to see how we can collaborate, because what we are doing is also our organization has interests that are very much aligned with theirs. So that's that's a summary of what we have been doing so far with the organization, and we have been very lucky to have founding committee members that are very engaged to help us progress with this initiative. As we discussed earlier, we have a LinkedIn page which is very active. We have reached our 1.3k followers, I believe, and we are working in establishing our website and and to create everything that needs to be in place for starting to collect membership applications after our launch event.
We're very impressed by the thoroughness of the committee in doing its due diligence on the global valuation community, really extracting the best ideas and input from each of the organizations you mentioned. And we're excited about your launch on November 15th. Can you tell us more about the launch event, some background on the speakers and the topics they might be addressing?
Absolutely. So on November 15th, the launch of the LVPA will take place here at PwC Luxembourg facilities. Even if we are one of the several firms that's participating in this initiative. And we will have the participation of Nick Talbot, who's the CEO of International Valuation Standard Council. As well as we'll have the participation from someone from our local regulator, the Commission de Surveillance du Système Financier, that will address the public, and then some of the representatives, including myself, will be presenting our mission as well as our membership model, what we intend to be doing in terms of education. And we'll follow with a panel where we'll have one of our representatives hosting the panel, where we have, among others, Nick Talbot, which is the CEO of IVSC. We'll have Jan Magnan, who used to be the former head of EMEA for Duff & Phelps, and now who's the chairman of the board of Europe of IVSC, and currently the CEO of 72 Strings, which is a valuation fintech company that is helping private market asset managers with their valuation and reporting needs, as well as Solen Niederkorn, which is a local board advisor with significant experience in venture capital.
Well, those are all very impressive speakers, and the panel sounds like it should be very informative. So, best wishes on the event. We're excited. And of course, we're showing links to the event. And as soon as your website is up, we'll make certain that that is posted as well. And hopefully, this interview will add a few thousand more followers, I hope, to your LinkedIn page. So, we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been very, very informative and helpful. And I know from talking about the LVPA, as I've been at the ASA International Conference and other conferences mentioning what you've been doing, everyone is very excited about the launch event and to see the organization go forward. So again, best wishes and early congratulations on the launch. And we hope to have you back to tell us how the LVPA progresses going forward.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for all the support from IIBV, and we look forward to collaborate together over the coming years.
Wonderful. We'll enjoy that.